Our Matchday Live preview show in association with our friends at Standard Chartered. Former Red striker Neil Mellor is with me here in Manchester tonight ahead of what is the biggest game pretty much in world football. Plenty to come across the course of the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. We'll discuss United's current situation, Liverpool's early season form. We'll get Neil's team selection for tonight, and we'll also reminisce about some famous results here over the years. Neil, for once, though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn things on its head. I'm actually going to focus on the opposition first. Now, given how much is being spoken about Manchester United, given their early season results, what do you see as the biggest concern they've got just now?
I think it's an unsettled place, Manchester United. As we arrived here, it doesn't have that same sort of fear factor that it has. Manchester United are no longer our rival in terms of at the top of the Premier League. They will always be a rival because the two are the biggest teams, certainly in England and world football. That rivalry will always exist. But United are nowhere near Liverpool's level and haven't been for the past few years. And that's where the unrest comes from the home supporters. They're making excuses, they're blaming the owners. They've changed the manager a few times, they've got a new manager through the door. The results haven't started well. They've spent a lot of money on recruitment, but the fans aren't high. Liverpool and Manchester City, their two biggest rivals, are so far ahead of United, and they don't like it. And they have started poorly. A couple of really bad results, one at home to Brighton, and that defeat, which was even worse last weekend against Brentford.
Go back a couple of seasons, though. Man United finished second in the Premier League. Was that more by luck than judgment? Is there still a lack of a clear vision here, if you want to call it that? If you compare it to Liverpool, to what's even happening in Arsenal just now? Yeah,
well, I think it's about consistency, isn't it? You know, when you're talking about who's going to genuinely compete for the top end for the Premier League title, it's Man City, it's Liverpool, and it has been for the previous few seasons. And the reason being, there's a real identity at those football clubs where the consistency is there, you know, and that comes from the manager. Manchester United, like I said, they've changed the manager a few times. They've got a new one through the door, and they have to be patient with him. They have to give him time to allow him to get that identity across. But all is not well. They're talking about process here. They're talking about Ronaldo, one of the best players the game has seen, not playing and being a little bit unsettling for the dressing room. And that's not what United want, coming for a big game, which is certainly this one tonight.
Yeah, have to go back to 1986-87 for the last time United lost their first three league games. That underlines just how poorly they've started this campaign. Should they be sticking with the man they've put in charge just now, or should they be panicking? Or is part of the problem the fact they haven't given guys enough room to shape things as they would like over the course of the last few seasons?
Well, it's clearly a top coach. You know, they've identified him as the man to come round and turn things around for Manchester United. It's going to take time, and I think that has to be understood by the fans and the players. There's been some poor recruitment over the years for Manchester United. They've spent a lot of money and it hasn't been working on the pitch. Now they've got a young coach who has a certain style of play, and he will need that time to get that across. The problem is United fans want to be competing at the top end of the table, want to be in the Champions League. There's no Champions League football again for them this season, and you're looking thinking, well, are they going to be good enough to get in the top four again? I think it's going to be a big ask this season.
No Man United player has scored in the Premier League for 6 hours. People point to say, well, Cristiano Ronaldo will be the man to buck that trend. Do you expect him to play tonight?
Well, he's a match winner. You know, he certainly has proven that. He's a big game player. Again, he's one of the factors that hasn't felt right at Manchester United. He was the leading goal scorer last season. You know, when there was important moments, he turned up and produced a few of them. Fernandes, you're looking at Ronaldo, you're looking at Fernandes and thinking, who else is going to be able to contribute? The players didn't last season. Rashford didn't get the goals that was expected of him. Sancho as well, a big transfer, didn't quite do the business. Martial is back involved this season. So you're looking, if it's not Ronaldo or Fernandes, who else is going to be the match winner? And they don't have enough. United got 57 goals last season. That's at least 20, 25 short of where they need to be if they do want to be competing to be in the top four or even higher than that.
That said, I suppose if you spoke to Manchester United fans, they'd point sort of further back in the team where the real issues are. It's centre midfield, it's centre-half. Centre midfield, Casemiro looks like a shrewd bit of business, at least for the short term. He's a proven winner, although, of course, not available for them this evening. At the back, do you expect Rafa Varane to maybe come back? And he came on as a sub in the last game, hasn't started a game since he played for his country back in the summer. But he's a proven quality defender. You think he might add some steel at the back?
Yeah, hasn't settled in. You know, he's one of the top class centre-halves where you're thinking, cool, that's a good signing. Hasn't really worked out for him or Manchester United. Injuries haven't helped. I think a big factor United is not having that protection in front of the defence. I think, we look at Fabinho for Liverpool. He does a brilliant job at giving the centre-halves that protection. United have not had that natural player to really give them that protection. I think Casemiro could be that player that is a quick fix. Long term, you're thinking, well, how long is he going to be in the team for? I think quick fix. I think he certainly is a player and a position that United desperately need. He won't play tonight, but I think when he does come in, I think that will strengthen the team in that area.
The funny thing is, Liverpool also come into this game having not won in their opening 2 league fixtures. I don't know what odds you would have got on both teams not having a win after 4 matches between them. What do you make of Arthur and what we saw last Monday night in the game against Crystal Palace in particular?
I'm not worried because there's total trust in what we have at the moment. I think it's been a slow start. Yes, it wasn't the performance we expected at Fulham, and certainly the result, only a point there. Against Palace, we had the chances. We didn't take those chances. Quick counter-attack got Palace the opening goal. The sending off didn't help us, but we really did respond to try and win that game. I feel as though there's been a lot of people saying, are we as good as we were last year? I'm saying there's going to be a big performance from Liverpool, and I'm hoping it is tonight, like we did see last season here at Old Trafford, because Liverpool, this team is a time to enjoy watching this team. We are going to be competing for the title again, and it's not going to be long before we get that first win. Hopefully it is tonight, and we can put a bit of consistency and some wins together.
Yeah. Do you sometimes need a performance to get you going in a season as a team? And could it very well come tonight?
I think the first win's always important. I think you're looking at the first 2 games and thinking you would have expected to have got one. It hasn't been the case. But the mentality within the group that when we watch Liverpool is, OK, well, we go again. This is a new game. This is a new chance to try and create, the players talk about a new story, a new memory. And that'll be the case today. They'll know about the unrest at Manchester United. But Liverpool have had a full week to prepare for this fixture. And after the disappointment of the Palace draw, we'll be making sure that Liverpool are at it today, forgetting about United problems, making sure we can be at our very best tonight to cause United a lot of problems.
Obviously, we have some players missing at the moment. It's been well documented, the injury list that's built up. We have a suspension thrown into that as well, off the back of a week ago. Yeah. In terms of your team selection, what would you do if you were Jurgen Klopp? Has he got many big decisions to make?
The good news is Jurgen picks the team and he always gets it right, doesn't he? So I think the decisions are going to be at centre-half, who partners Virgil van Dijk. Matip's out injured, Konate's not available either. I thought Joe Gomez did really well when he came off the bench. That was good to see in that Crystal Palace game. That was a real positive. I think he comes into contention, maybe to start alongside Virgil van Dijk. Midfield's an interesting one. I think Fabinho will play. Jordan Henderson, fit enough, available to start the game. Milner did well last weekend. Harvey Elliott did well. Naby Keita. Now, Naby loved it here last season. You think he's a more attacking player in midfield. He may well come into the manager's thoughts. And then the other one, Núñez, obviously is suspended. Bobby Firmino back. He was so influential in that 5-0 victory last season. I think he is a player that can cause United those problems. No Casemiro, because he will come into that United team. They don't have a player who can get hold of Bobby Firmino. So for me, I think this sort of team and fixture is perfect for someone like Bobby Firmino.
You mentioned Naby Keita, the manager's got huge faith in him. Is this the kind of game where you think Jurgen might just go, yeah, you know what, yeah, there's a stage for you, go, you've done it before, do it again tonight?
Yeah, I think he has belief in him. We know that he's had injury troubles. Last season was the most he has played for us last season. He only got 1 goal after the goal he scored at Old Trafford. That was back in October, which was a really good performance from him. I think the only other goal was Newcastle away. So we know there's more in him, and the fact that he is available now for selection, I think he'll be chomping at the bit to be out here knowing that he had such great memories last season here.
OK, more to come from Neil shortly, and more from a certain Mo Salah as well. Right now, though, I want to point you in the direction of what you can watch after the game here tonight. Yeah, you can relive the full 90 minutes here at Old Trafford at midnight UK time tonight here on LFC TV. It'll also be available on demand at the same time on LFC TV Go. And then tomorrow night at midnight on the club's Facebook and YouTube channels, you can watch all the best behind-the-scenes footage in Inside Old Trafford. That is certainly one not to be missed, regardless of the results. Now, regular followers to LFC's social media accounts and people across the city, perhaps over the course of the last week, will have seen a few of our first-team players out and about. That was all because of a very special prize from our friends at Standard Chartered. Here's a little teaser of what went on.
Hello, I came with Mohamed Salah to give us some present. Hello. Not me. I don't do that.
Oh my God!
Come on.
Hello.
Chocolate.
Yeah, I think Christmas certainly came early for that lady, though I'm not entirely sure she knows who Kostas Tsimikas is. You can see that feature in full over the course of the coming weeks. Virgil van Dijk and Joel Matip also involved in what went on. Back to events here at Old Trafford then. Let's focus on some happy memories. We've had some great days here in the past, not more so than our last visit. What stood out for you most of all about that rampaging victory here last season, Neil?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're looking at the scoreline thinking it was an emphatic, comfortable, a memorable win, but that was on the back of a really, really tough Champions League game. We had to play Atletico Madrid just a few days before coming here to Old Trafford. So the boys worked extremely hard to get a positive result out there in the Champions League, and then knowing that they had to go again, literally a couple of days to prepare for what is a huge fixture. The fans were back, you know, after COVID for the first time for this fixture last season. And I thought we started the game really well. You know, we got that opening goal, didn't we, with Naby Keita scoring so early on in the game, and that gave us the platform. United never really recovered. The first half was probably as good a performance as we saw from Liverpool last season. To be 4-0 up at Old Trafford as the players walked off with the away fans singing, it was certainly one of the best and most enjoyable last season first halves.
Yeah, Mo Salah, of course, got a hat-trick. He's got 9 in this fixture now. You just wonder whether that kind of spurs him. He likes records. He scores today. He becomes the outright top scorer in this fixture. That would be a nice little thing to add to all the other accolades he's picked up over the course of the last few years.
One thing we love about Mo Salah is that hunger to want to achieve, to want to be the best, to score the goals, to set the records, to win eventually the Ballon d'Or, to get the Golden Boot. And that's the same for this fixture. He wants to be remembered for being the main man for Liverpool scoring in this fixture. 5 goals last season. It really was incredible, and I'm sure he'll be looking to add to that today.
We were debating earlier whether Ronaldo will start for Manchester United tonight. He started back in the 2008-2009 season when Liverpool won here 4-1. He actually scored that day, I think, to open it. Yeah. Another outstanding performance, and that came in a pretty special week overall. Yeah,
it was. That was, again, on the back of the Champions League game against Real Madrid, the 4-0 victory at Anfield. That was one of the most iconic European nights. We all remember that one. But to come here and win so convincingly, it doesn't happen often. You know, yes, we came here, we won 5-0. When you come to Old Trafford and when United come to Anfield, these are special fixtures, but they're more often than not tight. So it's not too often where there is a big margin, a big victory. And the ones, when it does happen, are certainly memorable. That one, when we won 4-1, was certainly coming under that category. Steven Gerrard, of course, scored. Fullbacks getting on the score sheet. You know, our fullbacks are so influential these days. We didn't see too many scoring the same game previously, but certainly did on that occasion.
Yeah, it was quite a day. Andrea Dossena scored. You know, it's been a good day. You picked out a few matches from here that you particularly remember over the years. The first couple involved the same player scoring the goal. Talk us through those ones.
Yeah, Danny Murphy. I remember sort of 2001, 2002 as a young player in the youth team, and I remember thinking, I want to be involved. You know, so as a young player, I'm playing in the reserves and seeing Liverpool first team, Danny Murphy scoring the goal, thinking that's where I want to be. And it was a cracking result. I think we finished above Man United that season. Danny Murphy was the hero on that occasion.
And skip on again, the same player does a similar thing.
I know, deja vu again, wasn't it? This time it was a penalty. I'd actually been on loan at West Ham that season, and I came back a little bit earlier on, so I couldn't play for Liverpool, but I was around Melwood, around the players, and the buzz around Melwood, having beaten Manchester United, was amazing. It was one of those where you're thinking, wow, there was a real feel-good factor about the place, and of course Danny Murphy was the hero again on that occasion.
Yeah, it was Gary Neville who brought down Stevie for the penalty.
Definite pen.
Yeah, no debate about that. The final one you picked is one a little bit more recent from the title-chasing season of, 13-14?
Yeah, I think when you come to Old Trafford, it's not too many times where you do not want the final whistle to go. And that was one of those occasions. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I was in the press box that day covering the game for the radio. We won 3-0. Gerrard missed the penalty. It could have been 5 or 6. It was one of those games where I'm just going to keep watching this. We are absolutely loving playing at Old Trafford. We're not welcome. We know we're not welcome. We're not liked here. But that was one of those performances which was one of those where I can watch this all day. It was brilliant.
Just finally then, to return it back to the present day, if we are to get a similarly memorable performance and result here tonight, who do you think really has to stand up and deliver, given what we've seen in those opening 2 Premier League matches?
Yeah, it's all about the 3 points, isn't it, tonight? Yes, however emphatic that might be. I think it'd be nice to get a clean sheet. You know, a couple of games we haven't got that clean sheet, so I think to return to clean sheets would certainly be a big factor. We know we carry a goal threat. If we can be a little bit more clinical, certainly than we have been in the opening 2 games, I think we'll be in for a comfortable evening. First goal we haven't scored for a number of games now. It'd be nice to get that first goal tonight and just quieten down the crowd and add to the moans, the groans that are certainly building around this place at the moment.
Yeah, quieting down the crowd, except for that little bit up there where our boys and girls will be in. That's it for myself and Neil for now. We'll be back as part of Matchday Live on LFC TV and LFC TV Go from 7 o'clock this evening. Plenty more build-up on Matchday Live when the show comes along. The pre-match show also includes interviews with Mo Salah and Fabinho. At 8 o'clock, Steve Hunter and Jay Spearing will be talking you through all the action in our live commentary service. Then it's all the analysis and post-match interviews from 10 in the Matchday Reaction Show. Do join us tonight if you can.